The phone was warm when I took it from her. Not hot, just warm enough to know it had been alive a second before. She reached for it on instinct, the way people do when they realize too late that something precious is slipping. I didn't look at her. I didn't need to. The room had gone quiet in that unnatural way, like sound itself had decided to leave us alone. A message thread was open. Not a name, just a number I knew by heart. My pulse didn't spike. That came later. First there was emptiness. A clean, sterile nothing. I scrolled. Words appeared that didn't belong to my life. My house, my marriage, they were explicit. Casual, comfortable, written with a familiarity that only comes from repetition. This wasn't a mistake. Mistakes stumble. These messages walked confidently. She said my name then, soft, careful, as if I felt something detach inside me, a thin thread snapping. 22 years compressed into a dull pressure behind my eyes. I handed the phone back and went to sit on the edge of the bed. I can explain. I nodded, not because I believed her, but because I already knew this wasn't the beginning. It was the moment I finally arrived. She cried the way people do when they're afraid of consequences, not loss. It was only texting, she said, an ego boost, a stupid fantasy. She said it never crossed into the physical. Never would have. Her words came fast, rehearsed. Like a script she'd been polishing for years, waiting for the curtain to lift. I listened. I always listened. That had been my role, the stable one. The man who didn't pry because trust was assumed. When she went to sleep, exhaustion finally winning, I stayed awake staring at the ceiling. Every memory rewound itself with new lighting. Conversations. Laughs. The way she guarded her phone, not obviously, just enough. By morning, the messages deleted, erased, sanitized. She gave me her phone freely then, offered therapy, promised transparency, swore she would do anything except tell the truth. I messaged his wife that afternoon. No anger, no accusation, just fact. That was when the past crawled out of its grave. A night, 15 years ago, one night they agreed would never exist. They had decided, together, that I didn't deserve reality. And suddenly my marriage wasn't cracking. I didn't confront her right away. I watched. I learned the shape of her lies, the way they curved around details, the way truth leaked out only when cornered. I asked questions I already knew the answers to. Simple ones. She failed them all. Every denial rewired something in me. I stopped seeing my wife and started seeing a subject. A pattern. A system designed to protect itself at my expense. I checked timelines, old emails, gaps in memory that suddenly made sense, the long silence after that work trip. The odd defensiveness whenever his name came up, dismissed as coincidence, now obvious in hindsight. Externally, I was calm. Present, a good father, a patient husband. Internally, I was dissecting a corpse. I realized something terrifying in those days. I wasn't grieving her. I was grieving the version of myself who believed. The children laughed at breakfast. Life continued in cruel, ordinary ways. I moved through it like an actor who'd forgotten his lines but kept hitting his marks. At night, I planned nothing dramatic. Just truth. Truth is sharp enough if you know where to place it. I confronted her on a Tuesday. Neutral day, no symbolism, no theatrics. I told her I knew about the night, the photos, the years of on and off contact. She denied it. Once, then twice. Then I asked her a question, so specific she broke, not loudly, not all at once. It leaked out of her like air from a punctured tire. Confessions dragged out with effort, each one costing her something she hadn't planned to lose. She admitted she had planned to take it to her grave. That was the moment everything clarified. It wasn't the betrayal, it was the intention. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I simply listened as the woman I thought I knew dismantled herself with every word. When she finished, she looked at me like she was waiting for judgment. I gave her silence instead. It was worse. My revenge wasn't loud. It was precise. I told her I had already informed his wife. Watched the color drain from her face as the consequences expanded beyond this room, beyond her control. I told her therapy wasn't reconciliation. It was documentation. A record of truth she could no longer revive. Then I told her the part she wasn't prepared for, that I wasn't angry. Anger implies investment. I told her I would be a father first, a partner to my children, and that whatever remained of us would exist only on paper, negotiated calmly, no forgiveness, no rage, no performance. I watched her realize she had lost the audience. She cried harder then, begged softer, promised deeper. I stood up, that was it. I don't hate her. Hate keeps you tied to the thing that hurt you. What I feel now is cleaner than that. I see my marriage for what it was, a structure built on withheld truth. It stood because I never shook it hard enough. I eat again, I sleep sometimes. I look at my children and understand exactly why I stayed composed, why I chose clarity over chaos. Some nights the grief returns, not for her, but for the man who trusted without question. He's gone, and in his place is someone colder, sharper, awake. The truth didn't set me free, it handed me control, and I took it without hesitation.